Hello everybody, I am only 777, this is the Dodgy Kebab, and today I will be looking at the most popular World of Warcraft private server, Molten. Specifically, this video will be on their Wrath the Lich King Lordaeron x1 server, as that is where I primarily play, and the footage for this video was shot. As with my Emerald Dream private server review, I will give my brutally honest opinion on the server. I just hope the Molten players are not as sensitive as the Phoenix players were when I pointed out their server flaws, because I know the thumbs down came from the Phoenix's butthurt kids pretending to be hardcore. So I'm going to organise this video a little bit different to the last one. This time I'll be covering population, quests, random dungeon finder, or I'm just going to call it RDF like everyone else does, instances, raids, and then I'm going to sort of combine my overall thoughts at the end. So I started playing on Molten for the same reason as many people. I wanted to go back to a time before pandas. Oh shit. Oh god damn it! Well okay, I wanted to go back to a time before Looking for Raid showed up and ruined a lot of the game. Plus, every time you look at a private server list, they're like, Molten's #1, bitch! Why bother with these pussy servers? Molten, motherfucker! Just try Molten, you cunt! So I went to the website and the amount of players online looked promising. Then I downloaded the version it told me to get and logged in. Outside of retail, I don't think I've seen as many players on a World of Warcraft server. In fact, I think this beats many retail servers hands down for the sheer amount of players. I've found that most of the players speak English, something that global chat pretty much proves. Although many players are from all parts of the world, English is the universal language which is spoken here. There is, however, quite a few non-English guilds on the server, so if you want to speak to those guys in your own language, you've got the freedom to do that. But like I say, everything is pretty much in English all over the game. Okay, so let's move on to quests and how they work on the server. For the most part, quests work as they should, and you can quest grind until the cows come home. But every so often you'll find a quest that is bugged and you'll have to glitch your way to success, or if it's a major quest that refuses to drop an item needed to progress, then you can often find that item on the Molten marketplace. Well, so long as you voted for the server, you can spend your vote points on being able to play the game. Some quests are just broken and cannot be completed at all. I found that the broken ones normally involve some sort of scripted set piece which just refuses to work in the way that it should do in retail. But like I say, for the most part, most quests work. Most of them do. The random dungeon finder tool works well on Molten. As I'm a warrior tank, it works really well and I can rely on the feature to always get me into a group fast. Here's how long it took me to get from selecting the tool to being in a dungeon. Sometimes RDF does go a bit strange and doesn't load other players' names correctly, but most of the time it works fine, and it even works for world event dungeons like Brewfest.
Great.
Following on from the RDF tool, let's look at the instances of Molten. Like with everything else so far, most work fine, but the odd one or two have some nasty bugs. One of the bugged instances is Ortgard Pinnacle, and one of the bosses is broken, so the only way to beat the dungeon is to glitch through a wall to the final boss. That really pisses me off because it makes it impossible to get the achievement for the place, and that's got a knock-on effect for other achievements which are now unattainable. But in general, most of the instances do work throughout the vanilla Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King stuff, so it's not so bad. Raids are a major part of the game, and thankfully this is an area where the Molten team have been to work. Pretty much all the Wrath of the Lich King raids work fine, even ones that seem to cause other servers problems, like the Icecrown Citadel gunship battle, all seem to go on with no problems. Molten does give you the scope to really get stuck into some endgame Wrath of the Lich King content, which is great. Vanilla and Burning Crusade raids have not had as much care put into them, although most work fine. Illidan in the Black Temple, although beatable, does seem to break rather easy. And if you're looking for the final boss in Blackwing Lair, well, you can forget that, as it doesn't appear. Something else worth noting, the weekly raid quests that you pick up in Dalaran also pretty much all work. One not so much, but there's always a choice of two which you can take, so at least one of them will always work, so you can always get the Emblems of Frost, which is great. So this is the bit of the video I'll give my overall thoughts. There's no script here, this is just coming straight off the top of my head. I'm ad-libbing here. So, do I like Molten? Yes. It does have problems, but most private servers do, apart from Warcraft. But you get by with some problems, some bugs. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really affect the overall experience of the game, and it is a good version here. There's a massive player base, which really makes the difference. When you've got a big player base like this, it can make and break a server, and that's why Molten really is number one, because of its big player base. There are some servers out there which don't have quite as many breaking bugs, but if there's no one playing, what's the point? There's a good community here, it is good fun. I've got myself a good guild. In fact, it's a point to say a big shout out to South Park. Big up yourselves. So yes, I would recommend Molten. It is worth playing here. Why not give it a go? It is good fun. You won't regret it.